this chit chat. Grab your popcorn, sit tight, we're ready to roll. In the heart of Sacktown, we're feeding your soul. In the King's Court, the vibe's electric. If you don't like that, we're here to correct it. With the best in the game, we're raising the bar. From the hardwood to the airways, we're the King's shining star. With the NFL, Adams in the ring. Rhino's got the wisdom, hear the praises we sing. Court in session, it's a royal affair. With the fans all around, feel the passion in the air. In the King's Court, the vibe's electric. If you don't like that, we're here to correct it. With the best in the game, we're raising the bar. From the hardwood to the airways, we're the King's shining star.
Boy.
Can you feel
that escalated quickly.
It's starting to change.
That really got out of hand fast.
We're getting some
jumped
sports.
It did, didn't it?
It's getting a little intense. What's going on? A full weekend of NFL football to talk about. Certainly some names that you are probably tired of hearing about, but also some news on the Kings. Domas Sabonis spoke out for the first time this offseason, so we will listen to that. But how's everybody doing? How's your Monday going? You know, on Mondays around here, we do a couple of things. It is an airing of grievances Monday, meaning if there's something bugging you, just something you want to get on your get off your chest, you can do it here. You can call it in. You can hit the QR code or scan the QR code, hit the links that are pinned to the top of the chat. I will have a couple of grievances.
I got a lot of problems with you people. Now you're going to hear about it.
Not going to include the NASCAR driver. How brutal was that? Like, if anybody's been in that position where you know you're going down and it's that split second of trying to get your hands in front of you, and let's say you do get your hands in front of you, and like maybe when you're an athlete, you're in your 20s, this doesn't apply to you. You're nimble like a cat. But when you get to 41 where I'm at, when that happens, that is scary because you know something's going to be hurt. You're going to break a wrist. He broke a collarbone. So uncomfortable to see. Hope he'll be okay. Wonder if he'll be able to drive. That will be interesting. Also, football again, much to talk about. So grievances we will get to. It's also a motivational Monday. Do you know what that means? That means Scott Perry. And Scott, if this gets back to you, Mr. GM, Mr. Perry, this is no disrespect whatsoever. When we do our motivational Mondays, I kind of like it. Keep doing them, Scott. We appreciate them here on the King's Court. In fact, we read them here on the King's Court. Good time to transition to a motivational Monday. What do you say? Look at the graphics. Getting better and better every week. Scott Perry this morning. It is destructive to focus our thoughts on things we do not want to happen. When we give mental space to negative thoughts, think about that. Mental space to negative thoughts. It raises the potential for those negative thoughts to manifest in our lives. It is a waste of time and energy. So when problematic thoughts begin to invade your mind, make the conscious decision to focus on the positive and good that are always contained in every situation. It will begin to change both your perspective and circumstances. Be a warrior. Be a warrior. Not a warrior. A victor. Not a victim. Love it. I can't disagree with a lot of that. Don't put the bad stuff into the ether. Find the positive. Don't be a victim, be a victor. Have not heard be a warrior, not a worrier. I like that one. Thank you, Mr. Perry, who at last check was at Pittsburgh Steelers training camp last week. How about that? So that is your Motivational Monday from Scott Perry. We do have some news on the Kings schedule, some reporting. This is the time of year that we start to get the little schedule leaks. You get the Christmas Day games, which we talked about last week. Sean Cunningham and James Ham have both released some reports on what the Kings schedule is going to look like out of the gate. According to sources, this is Sean Cunningham. Sacramento Kings will open the 2025-2026 season on Wednesday, October 22nd in Phoenix against the Suns. Means the Kings will open up. This is me injecting. That means the Kings will be opening up on the road for the second time in 3 years. Last year being the one time they opened at home in the last 3 years against the Timberwolves. Back to Sean. The Kings home opener at Golden One Center versus the Utah Jazz is Friday, October 24th. The Kings' next home game will be Sunday, October 26th against the Lakers. That's what Sean had to say. James Ham, league sources confirm Kings open season October 22nd in Phoenix against the Suns. Home opener the 24th against the Jazz. Hearing, this is the new part, hearing Kings play Cooper Flag and the Mavs in Sacramento on December 27th and again on January 6th. That's important. If that holds up to be true, that's important because it's unlikely Kyrie Irving will be back yet. So you want to catch him at least a couple times without Kyrie Irving. Interesting timing for those two games. Looks like the Kings are going to have one of those homestands that they did last year. December was very home heavy. That was where we kind of said the Kings needed to put some food into the reserves. They needed to get some fat on their bodies. No, I'm not going to go to Mike Gundy in the fat drop. For those games that you knew would be hard for them, for those games that were quote unquote schedule losses, a lot to ask. So that is the update on the Kings. I would expect the schedule, you're going to get leaks the rest of the week. Maybe it'll be announced by the end of the week. I kind of lean towards next week, but who knows? We'll see. We'll keep our eyes on it. So getting it closer and closer to basketball, basketball people, Kings organization, this is vacation time. So, I mean, business is getting done if you're Scott Perry, if there's business to be done. But this is where you get your vacation in before you return back and head into media day, head into training camp, preseason, and before you know it, the season's right around the corner. Domas Sabonis, as I said, spoke out. He had a couple of quotes. We will get those here in a little bit. And if you notice the title of the show, I said, is Domas leaning out? He looks lean to me. Obviously, he's changing something. Is it just me? Maybe it's just me. He looks leaner to me. So I'll show you a picture of that. Certainly preseason football, we will hit all show. I want to talk about Shadur Sanders specifically. I don't get how the national media is getting this backwards. If you're surprised he came out and played well, then you're in the minority. He didn't fall in the draft because of his talent. So this whole thing, and Shadur, I could not believe what I heard when he hit the podium for his press conference. Check this out.
First off, big thank you to all my haters and all the teams that passed on me, especially the Steelers. Y'all signed an old washed-ass Aaron Rodgers instead of drafting me. And because of you guys, I now have to live in Cleveland. And to every QB taken before me, enjoy holding that clipboard while I'm out here running the league. I'm already a top 5 quarterback in this league. And this Browns team really had me behind Dylan Gabriel on the depth chart. I'm the best quarterback in this class. Period. And now I'm about to lead Cleveland to the Super Bowl. Don't ever doubt me again.
Hey, Shadur, you truly are the GOAT. I have to admit that after tonight. You cooked those third stringers out there, and I'm sure you won't be sacked 69 times a game against real lineups. But anyways, I'm placing a trade on Cal Shee for you to win Rookie of the Year, even though they're only giving you a 6% chance. I just put down 50,000 on that shit. Don't let me down, kid. Thank you, trash can.
Okay, if you know the show, you know that's not real. It's the AI clips. They're so good. Most times you can't play them because of the language and the stuff that's said. That one was fairly benign. That was not actually Shadur Sanders. However, I do have an issue with some of the stuff he said on the field after the game. That was AI. We'll get to the real Shadur in a little bit. How about Kyle Shanahan announcing Brandon Ayuk? Looks like maybe week 6. Niners fan, you going to be able to make it to week 6? Let me know. We've got some updates from good old Jarrah. Jarrah back in the mix as he always is. Thank goodness. Now the Cowboys are out of California. At least I think they should
We're in
be.
California. San Francisco 49er gold rush. There was more value than hitting that gold strike in San Francisco on this field today out here.
Interesting. More value on the field than all of the gold that was collected in the California Gold Rush. I wonder if he's even close with that. He might be. He might be. So we'll get to Jarrett and the Parsons situation. If you want to talk college football, Corn Dog, dude, I'm calling out to you. Did you get a job as a women's volleyball scout? Like, what's going on? Are you now a women's volleyball coach somewhere at some university? Southwest North Montana State? Corn Dog, where are you? This is your thing, man. You're our college guy. You became our volleyball guy somehow too. But Texas, for the first time, #1 in the AP rankings, which really don't mean much because the teams have not played. So you can put whatever weight you want into that. What's up, Boise State? Sneaking in there at 25, even without Genty. He's with the Raiders. So yeah, plenty of content today to talk about. We can go over the weekend with NFL football. We have grievances. I promise you, I am an equal opportunity hater when it comes to vehicles. On Friday, I was like, what's up with you, truck guy? I don't get it. I just don't get when you go over the top with these super lifted trucks that inevitably have, those things hanging from the trailer hitch. Yeah, you'll be surprised in my grievance today. I'm going after my own family today. So, anyways, let's get you in here. What's up? What did everybody do this weekend? What did everybody do this weekend? I'll tell you what I did. We celebrated my grandma's 100th birthday. How about that? 100 years old. Such a cool event. It was so classy, so cool. We had family come in from all over the country for it. But to make it to 100 years old, congrats to you, Gigi. Love the death out of you. Or love you to death, I should say. Adam, no, not Wrestling Fridays. That's going to be Friday. This is Monday. I know, 100, right? All right, Mom, I know you're going to hear this and I'm going to get flack for it. But my mom wanted to send in a picture of my grandma to the Today Show and wanted to hopefully have her featured in that Smuckers segment where it's like 100 years old, sponsored by Smuckers. The Willard guy, I don't think he does it anymore. He doesn't do the segment. It's now Al Roker. But my mom's like, I have no idea how to do this. Like, they want us to resize a photo. Like, how do I resize this photo? Do I need to go to Walmart? Do I need to put it in a kiosk and resize it there? I'm like, Mom, Mom, there's apps for that. In fact, there's probably an app on your phone that you don't know about that can do it for you. So we got that done in about 30 seconds and sent in. So we'll see if she gets featured there. Peter, Jerry Jones Monday, Jerry Reynolds Tuesday. Oh, what a treat. Yes, that's right. Jerry will be here tomorrow for Jerry Reynolds Tuesday. Did anybody see the quote, "to iron up your you know what" comment coming from Jerry last week? That was awesome. But yeah, Jerry will be back tomorrow with us for the 4 o'clock hour. Actually, might as well lay out the schedule for you this week on the King's Court. We're here today, obviously. We're here with Jerry tomorrow. No King's Court Wednesday. I'm going to be tied up with what's going on, which was announced on, not tied up. I'm thrilled. I'm going to be at the studio on Wednesday. So no King's Court, but you will have Grant. I might join him Wednesday night. We'll see. But you got Grant tonight, 7 p.m. Join him. Sure, he'll have thoughts about his New York Football Giants. Why do they always have to say New York Football Giants since there's not another Giants in New York anymore? I get you had the baseball team, but we know it's the football Giants. Is it because of the icebox and the little Giants? I don't know. But Dart looked pretty good. Russ didn't look bad. Talk about that. Grant will have thoughts. 7 o'clock tonight. In fact, I don't know if you guys caught this, but Grant was on another show this morning. Don't go check it out now. Wait to check it out later. But he was a guest and he came in via video on want to make sure that I get it right. The Dan Dockich show. Don't at me. I watch that one all the time. So yeah, go check that out. I'm sure Grant will talk about that today as well. So remember, this show is about all you. So call the show, get involved in the chat. What did you do this weekend? I told you what I did. Celebrated Gigi's 100th birthday. Anything else interesting that happened this weekend? I'm sure something will come to me. We'll see. John Finch, I think Jerry might have been in a mosh pit before. I doubt it. What's up, Finchy? Happy Monday. Listen to 104.7 Sports Radio today for a little bit. Heard Grant and some of his new promo spots. I got chills. I'm happy he's back. Oh boy. If you were on vacation or living under a rock the last week here in Sacramento, Grant is back. 104.7 FM, 98.0 on the dial, or excuse me, 89, 890 on the dial, AM side. Grant is back. The Grant Napier Show, September 2nd. I will be joining Grant on that show as his producer. Be hopping in from time to time on air with Napes. So we are looking forward to the launch of that very much, and the overwhelming support from all of you from Sacramento has been incredible. It's blown him away. It's blown me away. So thank you all. But that's what John is talking about right there. You think it's sand volleyball? Yeah, I wish Jerry was AI. No, Patrick, because then he would be around forever. I mean, I'm not looking for anything bad to happen to anybody, but Jerry Jones, man, gotta go away. Yes, we've
Every
got a
team
few
really
of them.
needs what I call a shitbird.
All right, as we pick through, yeah, 100% AI. You nailed it. Yeah, completely AI. But I do have a drop that's not AI. That kind of bugged me there. What did you think about the 49ers? By the way, you had 2 games that ended in ties this weekend. But what did you think of the Niners? What did you think of that first drive? Were you encouraged? What did you think about the wheels coming off the wagon after that? Considering the Niners are going to have to work with some depth right out the gate. We do have some audio from Kyle Shanahan updating the injury report for the Niners after that first game. Are you saying the Kings aren't able to win games on their schedule? All right, man. Peter, what do you want to do? Do I need to start an Ebel jar like right here? And do I need to have a roll of coins right here? And anytime you call me out on it, I grab a coin and I drop it in. Are we going to get to that point, Peter? Whatever it takes to make me better. Able. Sorry, so some of our family from Texas, they've got the Texas kind of swag, that swang in their voice. And I'm asking them, like, do we have a little bit of an accent to you here in California? Like, do we sound as different as you sound to us? He didn't point out Ebel to me, but I don't think I said Abel or Ebel in the conversation. Richard, Ryan, is there any truth the Westbrook will sign with the Kings? I am so tired of hearing this and nothing being done. I think one domino would have to move for that to happen. I don't think you can sign Russ until you offload a guard. So I think the Kings are very high on Russ. I would ask all of you, as aggressively as they went after Dennis Schroeder, would you have rather that been Russ? I mean, how do you see that? Do you see Schroeder a clear level above Russ? I think it's interesting to consider the mindset that he would bring to this team. And yeah, it's Grant's going to call it a Band-Aid. Do you want to win long term? But we're in a position right now with the Kings where it's not a long-term thing right now. The Kings are trying to get through a couple of bad contracts and maybe have some success. It's getting to the end of that Levine contract, or Levine playing himself into an asset and having other teams wanting to take a risk on him. That's what can accelerate this thing here in Sacktown. But I just don't see any world that you can bring Russ in without getting rid of a guard. Now, had that deal gone through for Jonathan Kuminga, I would say Russ is already a King. That's what I would say, Richard. But yeah, it has been going on a while, which kind of makes the Doug McDermott signing, just the timing of it, the timing of the Doug McDermott signing, kind of curious. Patrick's off the clock, of course. All right, cool. Love it. Let's get rolling into this Monday. Where do you want to start? We can start in a few places. I've got 2 grievances today. If you have a grievance, put it in the chat. If you have a grievance and want to call in, anybody going to take Mac's spot? Mac's been the only one using the phones lately. What's going on? Somebody take Mac's spot. Somebody try to take that over. Until you do, he gets as much runway as he wants on this show. He calls in with grievances. Hell, he does them when it's not even Monday. Come on, pick up the phone. Chop, chop. Let's go. We've got football. We've got Kings. Got a lot to go over. All right. So you had football this weekend. A lot of not super notable. I guess a lot of what you'd expect. Some starters looking really good. Some starters not looking so good. The one thing that always happens is injuries. You know that going into it. You saw a couple of awful injuries. The Lions, oh my goodness. That was scary. That was really scary. Maurice Norris, he was out. They canceled the game. And you know what I saw? And in fact, I didn't even put this up as a grievance. I meant to. There was more people that I saw online worried about what was going to happen with their bets than him. Like, what? Are you kidding me? The 2 teams held hands around the football and just let the clock run down till the game was finally suspended. Okay, we've got a grievance. Thank you. I'm just looking for some interaction
The
here.
airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now you're going to hear about it.
Yeah, I got to get with Napes, Peter. I don't have access to the place that I need to free Dennis. I feel bad. That was a complete accident, but we will get Dennis freed. Maybe we'll make some t-shirts. Free Dennis. Put those on the website. Would Russ be... Oh my gosh. You guys are killing me. Able... Come on. To mentor the youth, though, would he hurt development? I kind of think it's right there in the middle, Tristan. There were reports that he contributed to some of the tension in Denver. Now, that had already been building because of the way that Mike Malone coaches. He's kind of like a Harbaugh. As good as Mike Malone is, at some point, you're going to have to start over somewhere else. That style of coaching, if it's for a long time and you're a guy that's not really open to that kind of coaching, maybe you can move past it in high school because you've got a 4-year timeline there. Maybe you can move past it in college. It's really hard to move past in the pros. If you're Jokic, if you're Murray, and you saw that team respond with David Adelman, but I think it would be right in the middle, to be honest with you, with both. So the big story for me this weekend was Shadur Sanders. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, next coming. He looks great. He came out, he looked sharp, he looked good. But the reason he fell in the draft, it wasn't because of his talent. I think when he was drafted by the Browns in the 5th round, you had another college quarterback, Dylan Gabriel, drafted ahead of him. It had nothing to do with talent and everything to do with coachability, the off-the-field distractions. Will this guy buy into a system? Can he lead a locker room? Can he not make it about himself? Can he inspire the other guys around him? And I don't know. So the media now saying, oh, is he going to move up the depth chart? Is he going to get more reps? What happens in Cleveland if he starts? It was, for me, it was a bitter and a sweet pill at the same time to see him play well. Because I want to see him play well. I think he's probably the best option for the Browns on that roster right now. But what I don't want is to see him shoot himself in the foot. There was a lot of reports that he was unprepared when it came to interviews. He wasn't doing different workouts, yada, yada, yada. And you've got the whole Coach Prime thing around him, which we have gone over 1,000,000 times, but you couldn't ask another coach in the NFL, in college, if he's coachable, because he's only been coached by people that are yes men to Dion or Dion. So you have to gauge what he does on the field, because he had a lot, and I mean a lot of, I don't want to say power. That's not he had a lot of rope at Colorado when it came to what that offense did. He, although a offensive coordinator, Pat Shurmur, was in place, he was the offensive coordinator. So for all these reasons, he falls to the 5th round. So you see him come out, you see him play really, really well. I thought he made an incredible throw on one of the touchdown passes. It was great vision. It split the window. It was precise. He's not a guy that's got a massive arm, but he's accurate. And of course, you have to remember too, he's playing against backups. So that's a valid counter argument to how he played on Friday. However, to talk about, well, what's it going to look like when the offensive line can't protect him, which some have said if he starts. To be fair, the Colorado offensive line could not protect him. And for the most part, he was more times than not to make a play or get rid of the football than getting that 20, 30, 40-yard loss. So as he's coming out of his first pro game, it's so hard to call it a pro game because it's preseason, his first taste of NFL action, formal NFL action, which is the preseason. Dennis has found his way. I guess he got bailed out. So now he has to go through the X. But back to Sanders. They interviewed him on the field after the game. And this was the bitter stuff, the bitter pill that I didn't want to hear. The Browns are not judging this young man on his play. They know he can play. They know he's better than Dylan Gabriel. They know he's going to be in front of Joe Flacco at some point this season. They know it. He's going to be able to have the same latitude that most rookies have that start at some point at quarterback for a team that has had a decent defense, but the offense, Deshaun Watson, don't get me started. So I'm looking for, after the game, right there on the field, I'm looking for giving him that platform and him giving it back to his teammates, to his coaches. But instead, he's throwing little barbs. Well, I didn't get much action. I don't get much reps, so I guess this really was kind of my practice. And it's all about him. Listen to this response. Does this sound like a 5th round pick that is third on the depth chart, 3rd or 4th? Listen to what he had to say on the field after the game.
Next year's always going to be motivation. So regardless of how I'm feeling, regardless of anything, I know it's a lot of people count on me to succeed. So I just got to make sure, I stay positive and stay everything throughout whatever's going on, because it truly don't matter, because you got a lot of people that believe in you. There's a lot of 12 jerseys out here still, and it's amazing. I was just in college, and, last time I was in the NFL stadium, I probably seen Dad play when I was like 2. He was for the Ravens. So, for me overall, I'm just thankful for it. And sometimes, I don't understand the magnitude of things because I'm such in a bubble. So, I'm just thankful that, it's a lot of people.
Where do you want to start? First off, sounds like you just won the Super Bowl. He was 14 of 23 for 138 yards and 2 touchdowns in a preseason football game. The first preseason football game that is not the dress rehearsal for most teams. On top of that, you're playing the Carolina freaking Panthers. Arguably, and I know Bryce Young played well at the end of last year, he's closer to Bryce Young than further away. But to look around and see all the 12 jerseys that are in the stands, I'm playing for those that are locked up. Crazy that LeBron's texting me. Listen to this one more time.
So I guess this is my practice, and I feel like I practice went good today.
So he says, because I didn't get the end of the question, he was asked about the limited time, limited reps that he got in the joint scrimmages, that he gets in practice. So he's jabbing the coaches there. I guess this is my practice.
We won. Yeah, absolutely. Last one for me, I saw you giving some love to Jimmy over there. You got a lot of love on the internet. Your dad been live tweeting. LeBron tweeted you out. Oh, that's love. What do you think about when you think about the love, whether it's in person or people at home supporting you?
Well, Diff, you gotta understand what I'm playing for. I'm playing for a lot of people and a lot of beliefs. Overall, I'm playing for those who don't have a voice. So who I'm playing for is people locked up. They text me, sending me like, bro, we rooting for you. Like the external motivation, I have is crazy. I tell them that, to make sure it's always gonna be motivation. So regardless of how I'm feeling, regardless of anything, I know it's a lot of people count on me to succeed. So I just got to make sure, I stay positive and stay everything throughout whatever's going on, because it truly don't matter, because you got a lot of people that believe in you. There's a lot of 12 jerseys out here still, and it's amazing. Like, I was just in college, and, last time I was in the NFL stadium, I probably seen Dad play when I was like 2, and he was for the Ravens. So, like, for me overall, I'm just thankful for it, and sometimes, I don't understand the magnitude of things because I'm such in a bubble. So I'm just thankful that, it's a lot of people.
So sometime between that, leaving the field like Joe Namath, if you can find it on YouTube, and getting up to the actual podium, somebody got in his ear, as they should have, because this was him at the podium.
I felt like me out there, and I couldn't do it, of course, without the time. I couldn't do it without the play call. I couldn't do it without anything. So I'm just thankful to even be able to have, the joy of just being on the field overall, then carrying the responsibility of doing the right thing. So that's 2 badges under my belt already, that I got out there. I feel like we operated the huddle really, really good. So it's just the small details that of course we practice on and we talk about. And I'll say, of course, towards the end, I'll say we got a little sloppy and we overall going to finish it up, and that's going to be a point of emphasis going into this next week. But, I was just thankful just to share that moment with everybody.
Shadur, how do you think you handled?
All right. Too many eyes, not enough we's. He is going to be the only thing that holds him back from being the starting quarterback eventually in Cleveland. What are your thoughts? John Finch says talent and confidence are the best things an athlete can have. Sanders has, and he has it in abundance. See, that's the thing, John. His talent, the talent's there, but it's not like, give me a name that was a number 1 pick that just took off from game 1. Robert Griffin III. Take it in like 2 years. Those 2 years for RG3. He's not that talent, but he can grow and he can grow. He's bringing more attention onto himself in areas. Okay, guys, this messaging me during shows with audio files. What are we doing? There's certain rules around here. Don't message me when I'm on air. Unless, you know what? I've not listened to this. I have not listened to this. If I lose this show, it's because of you, BJ.
Narcissism on parade.
That was it? Anybody else have the balls to send me a voice message right now? We'll see. So very few of you have my cell phone number. Anyways, like father, like son. Yeah. And look, What was Dad, though? Dad was that dude. Dennis. I kind of gave it to Dennis for doing that. We're sitting there. Hold on, I got to bring you back in for this. So we're sitting there doing the live post mortem on the Kings play and loss this year. And if you remember, that was a long show. It was probably an hour and a half, 2 hours. We had a ton of callers, which we'll stay on for as long as all of you are calling. Love you too, BJ. All good, dude. All good. What was funny is there's a theme going now because somebody else wanted to do it too. So it's funny that you did it. But we're doing that. And if you watch the show, or if you were watching the show, if I'm talking, Grant's like doing something else. He's looking around. He's looking at his phone. He's reading something over here. And when Grant's talking, I'm doing the same. Like I'm over here. I'm trying to check this because we are getting literal news as we're doing this show. And then I've got Dennis texting me in between that. Like people in the locker room, my basketball contacts, people that follow the team that I'm having conversations with, and I'm getting ready to message back, Dennis. He's free. Okay. Somebody really bailed him out. He's free. And so after that show, I had to I had to put Dennis's nose in it in a little bit. Time and place, my man. If my phone's going off on a show like that, and because we were getting messages, like, and I told one of the things that I said was online, people were like, oh, well, there was a team meeting called. I wonder who called the meeting. And I'm trying to figure that out. I find out it's Doug Christie, and we were giving you that information like live. And we were also getting information about Monty McNair, how that all went down, and who came into the locker room after that, and what the players were told after that. And so trying to break that up. No, you're good, Beach. You're good, dude. I get what I get it. You're in a position where you can't call. So that's what Dennis is referring to. So anyways, if you're Sanders, I'm just saying, can you just buy in to the normal? It doesn't even have to be normal. Can you just at least be closer to the normal quarterback speak? The over the top stuff that you expect the players to answer with that gets us annoyed. I need you closer to that. And that's where the Browns need you. This is what they're judging you on. They are judging him just as much on what he does in the media as they are what he does on the field. Does anybody disagree with that? I don't know if you can tell. I want this dude to succeed. I really do. So what are your thoughts on him? Dennis is now trending on the show. So apparently when you get blocked, Dennis, does that mean it's for like a set little period of time? Yeah, dude, Dennis.
Every team really needs what I call a shitbird.
Dennis, I don't need to reset Stockton, do I? I don't need to reset that. Should we put Dennis back? No, we should not put Dennis back. He was not a bot. He was not the bot problem. It was a dark place. Yeah. What is YouTube jail from this show look like? Is there good food there, Dennis? I mean, who else is in jail? You know who else is in jail? That person that came in sometime after I played a Stone Cold drop and said I got that. I stole that from somebody else's show. That person's definitely in if you don't like that jail. Who else is in jail? Dennis, who was on your cell block, dude? Who were you passing notes through the toilet to? Now I'm interested. I gotta know. Just show some team vibes and make sure it's about wins, not yourself. Damn right. That's it. It's a motivational Monday miracle. Go to the gulag? What's that supposed to mean, Adam? Go to the gulag. Spot on. Appreciate that, Paul. Bread and water is good eating. You know, bread and water compared to, have you seen some of these people that end up getting cell phones in prison and they're like posting on YouTube and showing you the food and how bad it is? Dennis, you've never been there, Adam. You're too rich. You would bail out immediately. So instead of Celebrity Row, it's now Dennis's cell block. Yeah, I mean, there is some bad people in that cell block. We've had to block some legitimately annoying people. I just can't remember all of them that come to mind at the moment. So, all right, as we continue thinking about who is in jail with Dennis right now, let's move on really quick to the Niners. Give you a quick update from Kyle Shanahan on their injuries coming out of their preseason game against the Broncos on Saturday. Here was Coach Shanahan earlier today.
We were hoping Upton can go today. It was feeling too sore, so we're being safe with him. Be surprised if he goes tomorrow. Hopefully he'll be back by the Raiders practice. Jake and Renardo had Jake had a real good day today, hit all his times and stuff, so he'll get out there tomorrow. Renardo didn't, so we'll be safe with him and probably hold him this week.
Just soreness in his K.
Yes. Yeah.
Jordan Watkins?
Jordan Watkins ended up having a high ankle sprain. It's going to be out about a month. Yeah. No, yeah, he didn't he didn't feel it after the game. He was surprised. He actually reported some other things. Came in the next day saying how it was a little sore. Maybe we should look at it, and we weren't that worried about it till we got an MRI and showed a high ankle. So he knows the date on those, but those usually take about a month to me.
Any more details on Marcus Siegel?
Siegel was good. He was knee checked out fine. He was out there practicing today.
No, I have never had jail food. Adam, you've had jail food? You'll take the bread all day? I did read, I don't know how it got to me, but I was able to see what Puff Daddy's weekly menu was, like when he was first in jail. Did not look good. Would not want to be there. Niners fan, where are you at? If you don't have Ayuk until week 6 and you start out with the Seahawks, you do start out with the Seahawks. How are you feeling about things? Good to see Robert Saleh back on the sidelines. Yeah? How you feeling about things if you're a Niners fan? Also, Jera, which I teased at the top of the show, just doing Jerry things. Here's 2 minutes of Jerry Jones on Micah Parsons.
It's good. I think the world of Micah. Like I've said, I've had I've had social time with Micah, which isn't always the case. But I have. He's one of the brightest people I've ever been around, and he's very, very talented. Now, how we ultimately meld him in with our future is a challenge, and I'm built for it, and he's built for it.
Have you talked to him since the trade request?
I have not, no.
Has your people started any contract talks with his agent?
Excuse me?
Has your negotiator started contract talks with his agent?
No.
Are you hopeful anything could change with this situation this week?
again, this situation being
with Micah and the contract
with
moving
Micah. Listen, that's part of what we do. We have continual contract negotiations going on. I know you have Micah at front of mind, but we're continually working on contracts, and all clubs are. And so I don't necessarily put a big red letter beside any time that we've completed contract negotiations, but I'm appreciative when we do. So, but it's really business as usual.
When does it become urgent? I mean, clearly you want him on the field against Philadelphia. When does it become urgent that we need to get something resolved one way or another that he's on the field against Philadelphia?
Again, your definition of urgent is not necessarily. I don't believe you gave a definition.
I didn't.
Okay.
I just asked when does it get urgent?
So I stay urgent.
Okay. Okay. Any confidence that he will be on the field against Philadelphia?
Again, no, absolutely not. That has to. A big part of that is his decision. How would I know that? I'm just saying. No, but I'm urgent.
You're urgent. Okay.
Really interesting that they have not talked. Now, remember, there's nuance there. Maybe they've texted, maybe they've emailed, maybe he's talked to Micah's agent. But the more disturbing part of this was, how did he put it exactly? Something about Micah not being the future or part of the future? Like, Micah is the future. You think it's Dak Prescott? No. Dak Prescott is like an upgraded Band-Aid. You know the cheap Band-Aids? That just 5-10 minutes after you put them on, they're falling off? No. Dak is like more of like the ones that you get from the hospital that will stay on for a couple of days. He's not a franchise-changing quarterback that's going to take you over the top. He has not shown the ability to win any big games, but you see him enough as the future when many times it's your defense that kept you in things. So how can you say Micah? I want to hear that one more time, how he said this.
Like I've said, I've had I've had social time with Micah, which isn't always the case.
Social time with Micah. Do you think that is just the worst, that's like being in If You Don't Like That jail? Social time with Micah. What's that look like? Oh boy.
But I have. He's one of the brightest people I've ever been around, and he's very, very talented. Now, how we ultimately mail him in with our future is a challenge, and
how we I don't know what he said. Mail him in? Did you mean melt him in?
We ultimately mail him in with our future is.
He is your future, Jerry. He is the best defensive player in football. Man, the old man for baseline for Jerry Reynolds. I'm sorry, Jerry, to even say your name in the same sentence or segment as Jerry Jones. Like, baseline for Jerry Jones. That's crazy to say. Like, do you think battling this out in the media, like, who are you convincing? If you're a Cowboys fan, are you not just throwing stuff at the TV? Peter, Cowboys are going to be pass-heavy offense. It's going to be CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens show. They can't run the ball effectively as the O-line can't push anyone around. Defense is in decline. Damn right it's in decline. And speaking of the gentleman that you just brought up,
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now you're going to hear about it.
yeah, CeeDee Lamb, you're right, almost wasn't going to be part of this season's offense. Did you see him get taken out by the official because he was darn near on the field? The officials run up the sideline. This was the hardest hit of the entire weekend. When I saw that go down, I'm like, oh, that's a vertebrae. That's a herniated disc. That is the worst time to get hit. When you are least expecting to get hit and your muscles are relaxed and you get hit like that, it's different. Like I go back to Terry Tate, office linebacker.
You know you need a cover sheet on your TPS reports, Richard. That ain't new, baby.
Hey, Terry.
Hey, Janice.
It really looked like one of those plays. Like, how do you not have somebody on his hip? I mean, one, he shouldn't need somebody on his hip. But two, is he one of the top 5 most valuable players on that field on both sidelines? Yes. You got to pull that guy back. Now, conversely, I appreciate him being in it. I appreciate him cheering his teammates on, but that was some scary bleep. Like, go back, watch it. How that dude's not hurt is behind me.
He fits right in here.
And also,
That's a long distance call, Doug.
also on that note, if I'm the Cowboys and I lose Micah Parsons, I'm signing that referee. Look at the form. Look at the form. Perfect tackling form. Head up, arms around, and look at the damage that it did to CD. So maybe Jerry's right. Maybe they don't need to worry about mailing the future with Micah Parsons. No, I am not misspeaking. Mailing their future with Micah Parsons. Maybe they need to worry about getting in touch with that official. That might be the best form I saw all weekend when it came to tackling. He shot his shot, man. He was ready to go. Look at that. And he just kept running too. There's rubber cleat marks on CD's back. Telling you. So yes, that was my grievance. CD, man. You know he's sore today. He's in the trainer's room. He ain't bouncing back from a hit like that quick. Got a brand new TV in a box. Good for you, John. Oh my gosh, this is a marathon from Dennis. And Dennis, hold on. Is there 2 of you? I think there's 2 of you. Because this one's from X now again. And of course, Dennis is always trying to steal. Trying to steal my material for this show. Dennis thinks he should be doing the show. Trust me, he does. And Dennis, not sure if you're here earlier, I talked about this with Domas Sabonis, that we have audio. First time this offseason that he's talked about Scott Perry, talked about the team, seemed in good spirits. Remember, biggest thing we need is a point guard. The thing that struck me about Domas Sabonis, and I'm going to ask you, because I'm going to put the picture back up. He talks in these clips about running, being an offense where we're starting to get pieces of it from Doug. We want to be up tempo. Is it just me, or does it look like Domas has leaned out considerably? I don't think it's just me. I think he has leaned out. That's Domas last season. Here is Domas speaking just the other day. Here's what he had to say.
Very happy for him. He was in there with me
too.
those 3 summers every day in the gym, so I've seen how hard he works every day, and for him to have this opportunity
the fans love him. He's one of us here. So I think it's going to be very exciting. Doug's working hard on the new system, how he wants to play us, and he's going to translate it through the training camp. And so far all summer we've been getting little bits and pieces of that new offense. So hopefully when training camp comes, it's just smooth and we're ready to go.
And here's Domas on Scott Perry.
They listen to us, they want to hear what we think. I think Scott's done a great job so far, and he's trying to turn things around just like everyone else. No, I think we think alike, and we both want to get this thing running in the right direction, and his values are aligned with mine. Scott's coming in here and trying to change things around, in the right direction. I feel like what the fans want, what the fans believe in, and to come out, play hard, run, be a gritty team, and so far we're making the right moves. Everyone's working hard in summer, and it's gonna all come down to training camp and get together and make it work.
Love it. I love it. I'm with him. Domas, I'm with you. I am completely with you. There's a couple of areas that I do have some concern. You certainly do not. But I'm with you. I think Scott's done a really good job. Has there really been anything that Scott's done that feels like it's had a Vivek influence that kind of reeks of Vivek? Up until this point, it kind of feels like he's been able to operate autonomously. I like it. Now you got to see how it comes out on the court. But back to the bigger thing, Domas, doesn't he look leaner? He looks leaner. And that makes me think what the Kings are thinking. Certainly you can't play Max at 5 right off the bat. You're not going to play Eubanks at 5 right off the bat. But are the Kings in the market to get Domas to the 4, a real center at the 5? No disrespect to Domas. And most importantly to me, getting Keegan Murray at the 3. Scott Perry has talked about that as well. So Domas leaning out. How about that? How about that? I'd love to see when athletes, especially the 1%ers of the 1%er or the 1%, are able to continue to transform their bodies. He looks lean. He looks lean. So where you guys come out on that again, Domas on Scott Perry, and I'm with him. I'm not going to go into a whole reset. I was rubbed the wrong way about how Scott came in, but that wasn't, it was Scott's. Who wouldn't have taken the job? Let's put it that way. Who would not have taken the job? You can look at the Valanciunas trade. I think there's 2 areas that you can look at where is that a good idea? Was that a great idea? Valanciunas trade to dump some salary. And then number 2 was the amount of money that you're paying Dennis Schroeder. But outside of that, Scott Perry's done a really good job. And we'll be able to further analyze that when we see the rookies on the floor, but it's clear Neat Clifford is going to be able to step onto the floor. I've said it since the end of Summer League. I have seen enough between Summer Leagues and especially the G League. That's the big thing because I've covered the G League so closely. I've seen enough from Neat Clifford, even though it was at a Summer League level, to feel very confident in saying he is going to be a guy that his hand, he's going to force Doug Christie's hand. You're going to have to get 20 minutes for him every night. You're not sure where it's going to come from. Might be based off of matchups. It might be based off of who's not playing well, who's playing well. But one thing's for sure. He's got to be on the floor 20 to 25 minutes. I think he has played his way to that because it wasn't just what he did at Summer League. And I get he struggled the last 2 games. it was the things he was doing would have translated. The floor vision would have translated. The ability to handle the ball, that translates. He handles the ball better than Devin Carter right now. The defensive end for Neek is going to be the question mark. Where can he defend? Can he defend multiple positions? Are teams going to target him with a bigger three when they're on the floor together? What's that going to look like? We won't know till the regular season. But I have seen enough between evaluating the G League level, Summer League, etc., and understanding the play is below that of the NBA, and in Summer League, below that of the G League in most cases. The Kings did play a couple of teams that were pretty experienced, though, so you have to weigh that into your equation. But Neek's going to get some serious minutes, and I think he's going to be kind of that wild card for this team, and it becomes where are those minutes going to come from? I think your first I do think your first three in this roster might change between now and training camp. In fact, I think many of us hope that the roster changes between now and training camp in the areas that it needs to. I've got to think Neek is in your first three off the bench if you're Doug Christie. If the Kings needed to lace up today to play their first preseason game, I think it's Malik, Keon. It's probably Keon, Malik, and then obviously Neek. I think that is your first three off the bench. I don't think Neek is going to play himself into a starting role, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I like what he brings off the bench. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So what are you all thinking? Paul says it's not the end of the world, but I think the JV trade was a Kings mistake. And especially where he went. If you were going to ask or line up, and within reason, we're not talking about any center in the NBA, but if you lined up the centers that were at that pay grade across the NBA and put that list in front of the Nuggets, you've got to think Valanciunas easily would have been in their top 5. I would think probably top 3. Because the way he plays is somewhat similar to Jokic. Similar but different. He's more physical than Jokic defensively. But offensively, he can do many of those same things. So I do think my belief is the Kings were betting fairly heavy that they were going to get Kuminga. They were going to get something to shore up the front line, and it hasn't come to fruition. Maybe it still will, but it hasn't yet. But I'm with you, Paul. I'm definitely with you there. Dennis, Jonathan Kuminga has continued to indicate to those. Okay, per who, Dennis? If you're going to put this stuff in, you need to say per who. Unless it's you and you talk to Kuminga's agent. Come on. Denver will be tough. Yeah, Denver's going to be good. How's everybody? I mean, how do you kind of rank out the West right now? I mean, I can't put the Kings. I can't put the Kings any higher than the bottom 4. The question is Portland ahead or behind the Kings? I have to put the Spurs ahead of them, assuming both teams are fully healthy. What about the Pelicans? I kind of tend to think you have to put them. Well, do you? The Pelicans are such a wild card this season. You lose CJ McCollum, you bring in Derek Queen, you trade away an unprotected first-round pick next year. The most valuable pick probably right now in the NBA. When it comes to trades, you trade that away. But the Pelicans are always so athletic and physical, especially on the perimeter. How they handle Zion, something to monitor. At some point, you just got to let the guy play. You can't keep up with these minute restrictions. You can't keep up with no back-to-backs. Because if he's going to be that guy, he's got to be available every single night. You either have to say yes or no. He's that guy, and you're not going to find out by doing what you've been doing with him. He came into the season last year in the best health, best shape of his career, and they still did the same thing. Grizzlies clearly ahead of the Kings. Minnesota clearly ahead. Oklahoma City top of the West. Rockets and Nuggets. That's who do you put at 2 right now? Do you put the Rockets or the Nuggets at 2 in the West? Phoenix also is a little bit of a wild card. They're in the middle of a full rebuild, but I thought they did an excellent job of mixing that roster up with not very much to work with. And you've got Devin Booker fully on board. So if we had to go top 5 in the West, what's your top 5? I'm gonna go OKC, Denver, Houston, Minnesota, and LA. Lakers. What's everybody else? Well, okay, maybe no. Am I gonna put Dallas in there for the Lakers? Dennis, dude, you're just putting shit in the chat that we've already talked about. I'm gonna put you back in X jail, dude. Like, if you come to this show and you don't think like this show has already talked about that an hour and 14 minutes into it, come on, Dennis. Might put you back in timeout, dude. I'm not trying to be a hater here, man.
Well, well, well. The most diabolical haters this side of the Mississippi.
There you go, Tay. Link is in the chat for you, buddy. I'm looking through Dennis's messages. Is Dennis closer to a person or a bot? He gets into bot mode. Right now, you're botting, dude. Biggest takeaway when Domas laughed and said there are still moves to be made, like Russell Westbrook. Okay. Since you obviously missed the first however much of the show, my man, we talked about that. You can't sign Russell Westbrook. You can't sign him without making another move first. BJ. Tay, dude, please help us out. Pick us up from this. Tay, what's going on, man?
Hey Ryan, how was your weekend?
It was really good. My not my great grandma. My grandma turned 100, so we got to celebrate her. It's awesome. How about you?
Oh wow, congratulations. I hope the family gathering went well.
It went really well. Yeah, we actually, well, you know, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that to my mom. We had to make room for more people. It didn't include the patio. So hot. But anyways, how was your weekend, bud?
It was good. Enjoy the beach in Southern California as usual. So, I'm just hoping the summer lasts longer than it is. So, I called to kind of talk about Keon Ellis right now.
Yeah.
Sorry if you already talked about it in the show I just joined, but I think last season a lot of us were lamenting for Keon Ellis to start, specifically because Kings got to a really slow starts and they would dig 16-point or 20-point holes, in the first half and never really came back from those. Obviously, when you're facing any teams in the West, you can't really dig that much of a hole consistently. And we were all hoping that he would start so that at least we would have better starts. But I don't think he's gonna start with Dennis Schroeder and Zach Levine in the backcourt. How do you think? Do you think we can potentially see the same issue? A couple games into the season, and more importantly, how do you think that impacts Keon Ellis's development and his potential? Stay with the Kings. After next season, his stock might also go down too if he doesn't get the playing time. Um, you know, Battling alongside Monk to trying to get the playing time. So, how do you all see that playing out?
It's such a great question, Tay. The reason that the Kings seem to be better with Keon in the starting lineup was it kind of counterbalanced it balanced things out, I should say, where the Kings were really bad defensively with a starting five that didn't include Keon Ellis. But then once you got him in there, it gives him and Keegan Murray the ability to switch a lot on the perimeter, also switch off of the other team's best player, give you different looks. And so that's where Keon's value is at. It's the defensive end of the court. And if he's making threes, which sometimes he would have really good games, 6 and 9, 7 to 10, whatever it may be, awesome. But you always knew what you were getting defensively from him. And where he's at now changed the day that Jake LaRavia, excuse me, signed with the Lakers. I think it changed a lot of the Kings offseason plans. I truly believe you had two different plans on the board because this is a team that wants to get closer to being a defensive team. And if you have LaRavia back, I think that really helps Keon's case to be on the court because you have a group between, and also it helps Devin Carter's case to be on the court. She would have had a Devin Carter, Keon Ellis, Keegan Murray, and Jake LaRavia. You'd have four players that can switch at almost every position that can go out there and be a really good defensive lineup in spots. And because you don't have that now, the Kings are more geared towards offense. We're going to have to outscore teams. So I think you will still see a role for Keon, but I could see, unfortunately, some of Keon's minutes getting eaten up if Neat Clifford shows the ability to be able to defend and maybe defend multiple positions. As for his value, Tay, I don't think it hurts his value whatsoever if he doesn't play. Look at Jonathan Kuminga and what we're dealing with right now.
Yeah, I just could see a situation, again, similar to last year, with fans buying for Keon to start if we get to a slow start. Not that that's going to be the, main antidote, but I mean, we had this, similar issue last year with him, with Kings getting to close, slow starts and never really coming back. So
And that's where this year it's got to be the scoring. The Kings can't come out and have 12 points with 4 minutes left in the quarter and hope for the bench to pick you up and turn it into defense, into an offense game. But I'd say this, Tay, about Doug Christie. He's been pretty consistent since taking over about playing guys that are playing well in games. Like he'll let them stay out there and do their thing. So Keon will inevitably have those stretches. It's just for this team to be its best version, you have to have Keon Ellis on the floor for 20 minutes a night at minimum. And that's where Doug's going to have to find that balance between Levine, DeMar, and Neek.
Yeah, and I could also see another situation where Shorter fits in really nicely, and Kings get off to really strong starts, and that might even negate the need for Keon to be on the floor. Having a ball handler, I think it may impact shooting specifically. Like if you remember last year, sometimes I see Levine or DeRozan bringing up the ball, and sometimes it looked awkward, and they'll give passes to Keegan Murray where he would catch it near his ankle, and he would have to lift, and that impact shooters. But with Schroeder, he's a better, he's probably the best passer among them. So they might get off to even stronger offensive starts if it really fits in with the team. So that might potentially negate the need for Keon to be on the floor as consistently. So just really curious as to how Shore dynamics will work out too. Specifically his passing.
Yeah, it's a great point. In I guess the wild card here, and I know everybody was supposed to be working on this offseason, ball handling. Because Doug, we could have the conversation about how some fans, and I'm in that category, would like to see more structure. Doug's still talking about, I'd rather teach you how to play than a play. So with that in mind, if Keon comes back and he's improved his handle dramatically, that could affect some of the minutes that Dennis Schroeder gets. Same thing goes with Neek Clifford. If Neek continues to show that he can handle the ball, I could see in a world, now I know you're paying Dennis $17 million a year, but I could see in a world Dennis is one of those guys, he starts, then he starts the third quarter, and depending on how he plays in those two spurts, it will determine whether he gets time in the fourth. He could easily be the guy that's playing less than Keon Ellis at times. So I think everything's kind of up for grabs. I think they have to, as a staff, one, acknowledge, and I think they are, that offense is how we're going to win games. But two, throw some stuff at the wall and see what sticks in the process of it.
Yeah, I think there's really a lot of unknown. I think there's a lot of knowns. We know what this team with potential is, but at the same time, to your point, a lot of unknowns because we haven't seen everything meshed together. I'll end with this. I think the Kings are confidently better than two teams in the West. The first being Utah Jazz. Obviously, they don't have viable NBA players at this point. They're trying to rebuild. Besides maybe Markkanen. And then the Pelicans, I feel like the Pelicans is probably the most confusing team in the NBA. I
100%.
I don't like what they did in the draft of trading away their unprotected first round pick for potential all-star. We don't know yet what Queen's gonna be. And I don't like their pick of Jeremiah Fears, who's 13 years old and undersized. I didn't really like that pick either.
And injured too. He had surgery.
Injured. But Pelicans, gave a lot of trouble to Kings in the past. Trey Murphy and Herb Jones seems to always be the kryptonite, So, but at the same time, they just, they're offensively limited. So, besides those two teams, I don't know if the Kings are better than anyone. I mean, Portland doesn't have any quote unquote all stars, maybe except Drew Holiday, but they seem to be trending upward. They seem to have good pieces with, Danny Avdia and Shaden Sharp. So we'll see. Again, it's a wild, wild west. So,
It really is. It really is, Tay. It's a good way to put it.
all right. Have a good afternoon, Rhino. Thank you.
You too. Thanks for the call, Tay. Love when Tay calls in. There you go. Tay picking up the ball. I'm going to put him in the category with Mac. Tay always has solid calls. Really, really good calls. Speaking of good calls and great calls, did anybody pull the trigger on getting out to Bennett's this weekend? Did you do the bubbles and brunch for $45.99? Did you hit the Roseville location for some prime rib? Did you do happy hour at Howe and Fair Oaks? Raise your hand and let me know. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Bennett's American Cooking, prime cuts of seafood and steak, 3 locations here in the greater Sacramento area. Favorite amongst us here on the channel. You will find Grant and I there the last week of August all the time. We might have tents set up in front of the Roseville location. If there's 2 tents set up there, that's me and Grant. Anyways, getting back to it. Cool thing I love about them is you get an amazing meal, great ambience that does not break the bank. It's premium food, not at a premium price. Also local, also fresh. Brian just rolled up a taste of summer menu. 2 courses, $30. Add on dessert for $5 as well. Go to Bennett'sRestaurants.com. You can check out all of their full menus tonight. Monday night wine and dine, 2 entrees and a bottle of wine for under $70. Where are you going to pull that off? You got happy hour again, 2 to 6 o'clock every single day of the week. Huge thanks again to Brian, to Margot, all of the incredible staff, and all of you who have been hitting Bennett's up. And let us know when you go in, and we will retweet that and let them know when you go in, and tell them that you heard about them here on the channel. Again, Bennett'sRestaurants.com. Go check them out. Make your reservations. If you want to order to go, you can do it right there on the website as well. So big thanks to them for sponsoring today's episode of the King's Court. Rest of the week sets up this way. You got Grant, 7 o'clock tonight. Make sure you join him. We'll be going for about another 25 minutes here. So he'll be back in 2.5 hours to take you into the evening. Tomorrow, Jerry Reynolds Tuesday, favorite day of the week around here. Make sure you bring some good questions. I know some of you were thrown off by Jerry talking about wrestling. How about that? Talking about watching WWE Unreal. So we'll have some more fun with Jerry. If you missed last week's Jerry Reynolds Tuesday, go check it out. You can find it anytime here on the channel. If you're not subscribed, scan the QR code, subscribe on YouTube. Also, if you want to take us via podcast, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast. You'll find King's Court with Rhino, and If You Don't Like That with Napes. So we got a lot going on. No King's Court on Wednesday, though. No King's Court Wednesday. I will be at Fox. And if you're wondering why I will be at Fox Sports Radio, it's because Grant is back here in Sacktown. September 2nd, hitting the airwaves again. The Grant Napier Show, 104.7 FM, 890 AM. Very blessed to be a part of this project and bringing the show back to the airwaves for all of you. So make sure you mark that date down, September 2nd. Grant's back, Fox Sports Radio, Sacramento. If you're not in the area and you're worried, how can I find it? Download the Fox Sports Sacramento app. That's available on the Apple App Store and also Google Play. So, getting back to what Tay had to say about the Pelicans, it really is one of the more confusing teams. I'm not sure. I think Tay was here when I kind of said that too, because I get into his point about their draft. Jeremiah fears the injury. Unfortunate. You hate to see that. But again, they happen all across each and every sports league. But what they're trying to do, in my opinion, is go with that double big kind of lineup, that inside out where you've got the really skilled or who should they're projecting to be very skilled. When Derek Queen was in college, the knock against him was his conditioning. And when you were scouting Queen, if you had to put him into a category, now he's nowhere near where the following players are at, but he kind of tries to model his game, in my opinion, like a Jokic, like a Sabonis, like a Şengün. He can play on the outside, he can pass, he can shoot. Zion, very skilled, very physical as a big man. So you've got that double threat, which the NBA is kind of coming back to. I remember sitting here a year and a half ago on a Jerry Reynolds Tuesday and saying, Jerry, is the NBA going back to double bigs? The year that Dallas made the finals? And he's like, I kind of think that gate's swinging, and we've seen it continue to swing. And the Pelicans, as Tay said, they've gone all in. They are literally all in by giving up that draft pick that's unprotected. They're saying, we will not be in the lottery. We will be in the playoffs this year. And regardless of Zion, regardless of Derek Queen, just what Tay said, spot on. The length, the athleticism of Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, those guys, it's a nightmare for the Kings. And a lot of that was because of the Kings' ball handling. It was poor. So if the Kings can improve their ball handling, passing, as we have talked about, very important. See a completely different thing this year. But the Pelicans, that is really a coin flip. That team's either going to be really good or that team's going to be really bad. Because you can't really put last year, you can't use last year as an example. Their training camp roster, the roster that they were going to open the season with, never got to play together. Not once. And when the Kings went to New Orleans for the first time last season, after losing 7 times to them, was it 7 or 6? 6 times to them the previous season, the Kings almost got beat by a bunch of G Leaguers who were also physical, who were also giving them the same problem. CJ McCollum, all Kings killer, he's out of the picture now, but it will be interesting. John Finch says, Ryan, if you asked Jerry about mosh pits, he'd probably tell you there's 3 or 4 kinds, mostly circles, some with Tai Chi or karate. Yeah, he probably would know that. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. So some of you that drive trucks, I know Adam just got a new truck for his birthday. Congratulations. Hope you're enjoying that. Also hoping that you put the Joe Hendry sticker on that. I want to let you know, I am not just a hater on the over-the-top gravedigger wannabe trucks that are never used for the reasons that you put all those different improvements and attachments on. I'm not just a hater on them.
Well, the most diabolical haters this side of the Mississippi.
Because I had a little rant on Friday about one that I saw in front of me at the car wash. I am an equal opportunity hater, and I am going to hate against my own kind.
I got a lot of problems with you people. Now you're going to hear about it.
Here's my grievance. And again, it takes me back to the car wash. I don't know why. I don't know why they all happen at the car wash, but they seem to happen at the car wash. Told you I'm an equal opportunity hater. I'm Team Tesla. And my grievance is with this Tesla driver. What are you thinking? Are you confused? Do you know what type of car you are driving? The whole reason that you buy a Tesla is because of energy efficiency. You don't want to pay the gas prices that fluctuate, and you know that those things are fast, very fast. The Tesla Plaid is the fastest factory car on the roads. So why in the world, like seriously, why in the world would you stick a V8 emblem on a Tesla?
Diabolical haters this side of the Mississippi.
What are we trying to do here? Like, do you want to remind people that Teslas are fast? Did you actually do the math on the horsepower, the torque, and it shook out to a V8? I can't tell because of your I identify as a Prius sticker, but is that a dual motor Model Y there? If so, you should have, I think, should have more than a V8 powered vehicle that you are controlling. I just don't get it. Why would you put V8 on an electric car? And clearly you did it. Like, you trying to act like this was sold to you? A 101 by Tesla? Is that it? It's a 101 where they put V8 on the back of it? That takes me to another point. What about people that have, I don't know, Honda Civics? Let's say you got a Honda Civic, right? And then all of a sudden, you buy Mercedes emblems and you put them on the car. There was some car, what was it? Was it the Chrysler 300? I think it was the Chrysler 300 that kind of looked like a Bentley, I want to say. It looked like either a Bentley or a Rolls Royce, just kind of that square and low body style. And there's people that started buying the fake Bentley or Rolls Royce, I think it was Rolls Royce, emblems, and putting them on the cars. I just don't get it. Like, if you have a nice, okay, and I see both sides of the argument. Having a nice car isn't what it's about. It's just a car to me. It doesn't matter if it's a $100,000 car or a $15,000 car. I'm going to put what I want on it. Okay, fine. I understand that side of it. I respect that side. You want to put, I identify as a Prius on your Tesla? By all means, do so, right? But V8 on a Tesla, it goes against everything that you're driving a Tesla for. Anyways, that's my grievance.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now you're going to hear about it.
Flores, my grievance is the roundabouts. People don't know how to drive through those.
The airing
That's
of
a good
grievances. I got a lot of problems with you
John.
people. Now you're going to hear about it.
John, there is nothing on my Tesla. Nothing except what it came with. I don't even have a carpool bumper sticker on it. I don't have a V8 thing on it. I'm being an equal opportunity hater there. Hey, to your point, Flores, you know what else I can't stand? Is the streets. So check this out. You all probably live in an area where you have to make this turn. John trying to back up his point. I'm toying with the idea of buying a wrecked Tesla and putting a 302 V8 engine into it. Yeah, well, you won't have to worry about Tesla not activating the supercharging on it because it'll take gas. Everybody lives around one of these streets where it's a street that nobody should be allowed to park on because it's narrow and you can't see around the curve because the street has a curve. So if you're going to make a left-hand turn, you're basically kind of making that left-hand turn blind, because not only is it hard to see around, but you have these junk beater cars that have been in the same spot with cobwebs for 6 months. So when you look to your right, you can barely see anything because of the cars, because there's a curve going that way. When you look to your left, you can barely see anything because of the curve and the cars. So you're basically taking a leap of faith every time you pull out into that street. I've never understood. Here's my
airing
grievance.
of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now you're going to hear about it.
Look up and down different streets in Sacramento that are completely straight as day, and you'll see no parking. You're not allowed to park there, right? But no, if there's a curve and it's like a parking lot, because next to me I've got a Dutch Brothers, there's a gas station, a couple different restaurants there. And when you turn left out of that, cars are allowed to park on the streets there. If it's a curved street, almost inevitably cars are allowed to park on the street. And it's not like the parking, like, oh, overflow for the shopping center. No, it's the parking like where people just leave their cars. It's storage. Like, I can't stand that. Like, cars should not be parked on streets like that. You know what I mean? Am I alone there? Am I out of pocket? For sure at Dennis, but I'm trying to buy a new car. I want a new car. I've been driving a Camry. All right. What are you looking at, Dorian? By the way, do not ask for Dennis, or don't ask for Adam's advice. He's going to point you to a minivan. Yeah, I know you guys are trying to check my. I get it. Honda Civic with a fin. Good. After all weekend, he's extra full of himself. Good man. How am I being full of myself? Jeez. It's incredible the standard that some of you hold me to when your standards are not even, they can't even be broadcasted on this channel. Come on, y'all. Come on. So that was my last grievance. Check this out. I thought this was interesting. I'll give Carmichael Dave credit for this. He posted it. This is NFL stadiums that is ranked by reviews from Google, Yelp, and TripAdvisor. So these are not just some writer's opinion. These are the aggregated scores of each website from reviews. Look at the different scores. How about Lambeau Field? I can vouch for Lambeau for sure. Everything in that city is built around that stadium. Love that. Any surprises on the list? Detroit 4.3. The Texans stadium surprises me. 4.6. You would think the Chargers and the Rams would have the same score, right? Chargers down here at a 3.5. The Rams are at a 3.5. So how does that stadium, seriously, how does that stadium have a 3.5? That's crazy. Kazzy, what's up, man?
Hey, you guys just talk about NFL, or can I talk about Kings?
You can talk about Kings.
For sure. You know, I mean, Ryan, as if you look at the roster, you look at all 15 rosters in the West, I really don't see them being any better than 14.
Yeah.
The only team that I see doing worse is Utah. Every other team that's above Sacramento 1 through 13, either A, has better players, has a better coach, or has better chemistry, or all three. The Kings are, as LeGrant has said it many times, they are like a big ass puzzle that where all the pieces don't fit. You're trying to get like it's almost like you went to the store, right? And you bought like 13 puzzles, right? And you're trying to fit all the pieces together.
Yep.
With the wrong puzzle.
Yep, I'm with you.
And I really don't see this team winning any more than 30 games. I mean, the fact that they do have 3 All-Stars, I think, obviously those 3 guys are going to have their moments throughout the season, but it's just going to I feel there's going to be a lot of ISO ball. I feel there's going to be a lot of disappointment this season among the fan base. I expect a lot of booing from the crowds in these games. If I'm honest, I think the biggest highlight from this season will be 2 things: Keon Ellis and Neat Clifford.
Okay.
Do you see? I just don't see how Sabonis is going to want to stay there. I mean, I can see him winning out. I think Zach LaVine is probably going to lock you up here. DeMar DeRozan, unless there was like a team around the deadline that's like, oh, like DeRozan, we could actually really use him in like late game scoring down the stretch of the playoffs. I'm just trying to figure out what team that could be. The only team maybe that comes to mind is like Detroit up and coming, but like I just see a shithole season. I'm sorry, sorry we're saying that for so much. I just see a poor season, and I'm just hoping that Kings fans don't get ahead of themselves.
I hear you, Kaz. I think what you said is interesting from this standpoint. If the Kings are having a good season, it's going to be a very uncomfortable season for some of the quote unquote all-stars on this team.
Wait, say that again.
If the Kings if they're having a good season.
Well, okay, wait, Ryan, what's a good season for you this year?
500.
Okay, that's fair.
If the Kings are having a good season, it's going to be a very uncomfortable season for Zach LaVine. It's going to be an uncomfortable season for Dennis Schroeder. It's going to be an uncomfortable season, maybe, for DeMar DeRozan. Their hope of being good is with the guys that you're talking about, the young guys. And Neek, to put him in the category of being solid defensively, I can't do that yet. I need to see 25 NBA games first. But offensively, I know what he has vision-wise. I could see the fan base being very split, very much like it was last year, about guys that should be playing and guys that the Kings have to play. Because of it's not even the politics, it's trying to make them look desirable. Jerry Reynolds calls it a tryout every time somebody steps on to the NBA court for all 30 teams. So if you're benching Zach LaVine or you've got DeMar coming off the bench as the 6th man, how's that help their value? What's that look like to the rest of the NBA if you're trying to move them at some point? So that's where I think Doug Christie is going to have a little bit of a difficult time, because I think Keon is going to play well. I think that Neek is going to play well. I don't think that as we sit today, there's really any role for Devin Carter, any regular role at this point.
Yeah, I don't see it. I mean, if you're going to have a starting lineup of Schroeder, Monk, Schroeder, LaVine, DeRozan, Murray, Sabonis. I mean, you're going to get killed in the first quarter. You're probably going to see a lot of games where the opponent scoring, 35 to 39 points in the first quarter, and then hopefully you're hoping maybe the rest of the game you can hold them to like 112.
Well, I'm actually thinking the Kings are hoping to be scoring 35 points in the first quarter, because just what you said, they're going to have to outscore other teams. If the Kings aren't scoring, they're going to fall behind early, simply because of the composition of that starting lineup.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just trying to think what else to say, but I mean, that's all I have for right now. But thanks for taking.
Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for calling in on a Monday.
Sure.
Look at Kazzy and Tay calling in. I love it. I love it. Look, we only have a limited number of live King's Court or King Courts on a regular basis left. The time is now. Start calling. Get involved. Come September 2nd, we're on Fox, baby. It's the Grant Napier show. Doesn't mean this show isn't going to still be around. I've told you that I want to do at least one live show a week, whether that's in the evening time, whether that's earlier in the day, before the Fox show. You'll get regular episodes, shorter, uploaded to Spotify and Apple, like you did before. The cool part is you're going to have better access. You're going to have more insight from me. You're going to have me being able to ask the guys questions. So you'll have all that. But this thing that we created February of 2024 that we kickstarted, let's finish it out strong. It's not going away. Let's finish it out as we know it strong. Because the days, each day, I guess it's kind of like John Cena, right? This isn't the King's Court. This is the King's Court live daily show retirement tour. That's what it is. The daily part of it is gone. But you get the Grant Napier show back. So pumped for that. Fox Sports Sacramento, September 2nd. Grant is back here in Sacktown. Also, Grant's back 7 o'clock tonight. Make sure you join him. Really interesting that some of you picked up on the Niners and the score on their stadium. Really interesting. I think it was a poorly, the way that they built the stadium, I think it was poorly built for sound and crowd noise. You're also in the same parking lot as Great America, which, oh my gosh, you want to talk about a fall from grace? There should be a documentary on what the heck happened to Great America and why they're still on the air. They're still open. Oh, I should tell you the story about the last time we went there. We said never again after that. Finchy, what's up, dude? John Finch. Finchy. All right. Try to go back to him in a second before we get ready to wrap up. Levi's doesn't block out the sun, so it hurts. Yeah, they do get a Super Bowl. It's part of building a new stadium, a second Super Bowl. Last one was 2015 or 2016 was the last one. Let's go. Let's give John Finch one more try. Finchy, you there? Finchy's getting in some bad. We'll try Finchy tomorrow. Ryan been driving a Camry. Yep, that's right, for sure. So, okay, Dorian, here's the thing. Dorian, if you're gonna do it, you've got to do it before September, the end of September. Dorian, we'll talk offline, but if you buy a used one, it's got to be $25,000 or under to qualify for the $4,000 federal credit. And that credit runs out at the end of September. So I'll hit you up, Dorian. But yeah, there's a big run on the used ones. But Dorian, you've really got to do your research on those. So yeah, thank goodness Thank goodness it's closing, man. It used to be the place back in the day. You remember when Top Gun opened? It's like, oh my gosh, coolest coaster in the world. We took Liam there. It must have been 3 years ago. It was worse than a county fair. Like, half the things were closed. It was trashy. The parking was expensive. And the food. Do you know how much? No exaggeration. Zero exaggeration. It was $33 for chicken strips and french fries. Like, who do you think you are? I expect to pay a premium if I'm at a park. But this park? $33? You know how much a side of french fries was? $10. You want to know why I remember it was $10? Because my wife and I split one for lunch. We refused to pay the price. Good riddance, man. I had such great memories of Great America. They used to have that basketball game where the rim's a little bit smaller and you're shooting a regulation size ball, and it's probably about it's in between a college and NBA three-pointer, the distance. And the net, y'all remember this, the net that's attached to the hoop is like a tube, and it comes all the way back down to you. So if you make the shot, they can see the ball come all the way back. And if you would make, I believe it was 2 out of 3 shots. I think it was 2 out of 3. You would get an NBA jersey, and they were legit good NBA jerseys. That's where I got my number 45 Jordan jersey. Man, used EVs are cheap. Resale value is not a strong suit. No, Paul, you're correct, Paul, in a certain sense. Tesla slashed their prices out of nowhere like 18 months ago on their new ones, which really screwed a lot of people over that paid top dollar, which then hurt the resale market. But now, since that tax credit, that federal tax credit was implemented and now it's going away, it's really heated up again. But yeah, you would be surprised what you can get for sure. And here's the double kicker on that. Depending on where you get your used one, they now have places that are certified to insure the batteries on the car with warranties that Tesla recognizes. That's massive. That's a game changer. So way too much Tesla, not enough sport. We've had a ton of grievances. Good show. Big thanks to Tay. Big thanks to Kazi for calling in. Looking forward to Jerry Reynolds Tuesday. Tomorrow, JR will be with us. We'll be looking for a few of these.
That's a great question.
Indeed. Grant coming up here in just about 2 hours. Join him. Go Kings. Light the beam. Thanks for making it a great Monday. Good grievances. Appreciate it. We're back tomorrow. Jerry Reynolds Tuesday. So long. Court's dismissed.
The airing of grievances.
Order in the court.
I got a lot of problems with you people. Now you're going to hear about it.